I like what NIGMA Galaxy got. A bit confused how FNATIC draft is gonna work. I mean, they have a lot of early aggression. Tusk unlocks the Roche for them with the tag team, plus Io. Like, they have tanky frontline, I would say. They have 2 saves. They have...
This is a new patch. This is where I think if they were to thrive, it would be now. FNATIC, I think the SEA region, you know, I got gods in my DMs right now, hyping up SEA. Admittedly, maybe undervalued them coming into the tournament. Boom looks like not just a favorite in the region, but perhaps in this whole tournament.
I mean, whoa. I got to reverse this. I got to backtrack a little bit. I'm sorry, but guys, there was the #1 team in Southeast Asia versus the 5th best, 6th best team in Western Europe. You know, like,
that's
I
true.
feel like that wasn't really that unexpected of an outcome.
Well, here's the thing. I mean,
and I feel like FNATIC should win this match against NIGMA Galaxy.
But keep in mind, #1 NA played against, what were they, #5 EU, NIGMA?
Yeah, but that's NA.
NIGMA 1?
Southeast Asia. There's difference to the power levels there.
No, don't go there. Oh, man.
All right. Well, I think one interesting thing, I mean, just to piggyback off of, you know, the game that we just watched, if Boom has the #1 mid laner in Southeast Asia and potentially one of the best in the world, I think the conversation for FNATIC is that man right there, Raiden, who FNATIC, if their highlight is going to be, they probably have the best carry in Southeast Asia and therefore the world.
This is such a cool core combo as well, because both Lesh and Timber can you utilize the mana, the bonus from the Wisp, but they're also super dependent on having that healing factor, because the longer they can sustain in a fight, like Lesh is they're just dishing out damage. They just have to stay alive, and because it's a core Wisp, you can play way more up in your face, the move speed bonus as well. Suddenly Armel is just going to be diving forwards with both Nova and Balls dealing heavy damage. And I look at this lineup, Undying, one of the traditional counters to Wisp, but I don't know if they'll be able to stand strong.
Throw a little stat your way here. Raven, who we haven't seen him play Io that many times. FNATIC and TNC didn't necessarily run carry Io that much back when it was super popular, but he is still undefeated on this hero. So 6 games, 100% win rate, and we'll see how he fares with his newer laning partner with Januel, and see how they do with this Io Tusk, which I have to imagine is a strong lane.
Very good. Yeah, you get the tag team level 2, and then suddenly you can start threatening kills. It's just a lot of fun to watch and play, and you always have that threat. I'm surprised. Oh, this is an aggro tri-lane, by the way. I didn't even notice. That is cool. Makes a lot of sense. You're going up against 2 strength heroes.
Sure.
Will he stay there, though? Also, double warding middle. Very curious. Is he Courier killing?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Armel's
I mean, Armel is pretty low, but Undying ganks aren't exactly the best.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Maybe he can get this. I mean, he's surrounding him. Tombstone level 1, and he's going to be able to chase down Armel. The Fairy Fire goes off, but Armel was completely surprised by this one of the zombie, and the last hit from Miracle. He's going to be able to chase him down.
What was that?
How often do you see a level 1 Tombstone ganking Undying? Hey, Curl's just ahead of the meta.
Nobody saw that coming. That is.
We were watching it. We didn't see it coming.
That is the first time in my entire life I have seen that, ever.
Hey, well, I mean, talk about the changelog. Tombstone did get buffed. It got dialed back a little bit in this last patch, but basically it does more to heroes than it used to. It does less to creeps, but it's not like support.
Yeah.
There's very rare instances where you are farming creeps with Tombstone. That was mostly Ancient stacks.
Yeah, exactly. But I like that because it was kind of broken against Ancients. You can just clear stacks with Undying plus a core like level 7.
Yep.
But it was felt real useless in fights. So we're going to see this. Bat against Timber. This is traditionally very Bat favored, but this is what ends up happening where Timber saw just back lanes, and eventually, you know, Bat can run over, but this is annoying though.
Yeah.
No aggro until, was it 7:30? And they'll start get on top of you?
I actually don't know that timing. You might be correct on that.
It sounds right.
Mind control. Try to body block him a little bit. He's going to Timber Chain one more time. Mind control can catch up to him. He's got a mango if he wants to go for it now. Or maybe he just is going to keep pace. All right, now he pops it. The long Timber Chain is going to get him some Timber. Oh, okay. Armel's getting really low. Miracle might be able to catch that. Jabs. Gets a lot of sticky napalm stacks, but ultimately does stay alive.
That's the problem with the matchup. If you don't get that kill, Cap, you've lost the lane hard, because Timber's just going to regen to full. Your only threat is with a ton of napalm and then the Firefly threat, whereas now MC's just out of regen. He used a Mango for that, I think 300 plus mana, and now he's just sitting here.
That's why it was so important for Jabs to play that back-laning position in the first place, right? Because a lot more dangerous for you to be playing in lane all the time. The Bramble's trying to slow things down, but ILTW is just going to be gone on and killed. DJ doesn't need to be in that top lane, especially after that Firefly usage, so great rotation by him to bottom.
Yeah, this is a real sick dual roam combo as well, especially with the Lesh middle. All of these cores on NIGMA are going to be very susceptible to a dual roam. Maybe not even necessary, we shall see. Miracle very ahead middle though, already with 2 kills.
Yeah,
it's 2 kills.
He can
no,
get
with 1 kill. Why do I think he killed him twice?
Well, he got him really low, but if you can finish up that urn and get a second kill, hey, start that snowball. Yeah, I feel like Armel, kind of, you know, there was a period of time where we talked about him as maybe the best mid in Southeast Asia. This is probably, I would say, probably about a year, maybe 2 years ago. He was kind of like the hot product, but he's definitely been eclipsed by Yopaj in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like he doesn't have the same like dominating power as he used to, but we'll see how as it continues. Kuro's just gonna trying to go for the deny neutrals, but no.
Yeah, and it's not even a slight against Armel. It's just, you know, Yopaj is like global superstar level.
That guy's insane.
Armel is a star.
Yes.
I just don't know if you're going to put him in like best mid player worldwide category.
Yeah.
Very consistent though. I mean, going back even to the TNC days.
GH and ILTW, CS-wise, how are they doing? So they have managed to keep Raven a little bit down, which is, I guess, kind of expected. Tiny is such a heavy hitter that his CS, he should be ahead 23-4 compared to 16-5. Mid lane, Miracle. It's like the siege wagon, tank that arrow. Not sure if TJ intended to take away the siege or if he wanted to hit Miracle.
Hey, it's the perfect shot though, right? Whatever you hit, you meant to do it.
That's true. That is a Kyle answer for sure. No matter what you predict. That's what I meant to do.
Whoa, MC.
Oh, MC in trouble. He's still level 5, and Jabs, he looks to be able to chase him down. Nice timber chain through. It almost is enough. Meanwhile, ILTW is going to die again in the bottom lane. I feel like NIGMA Galaxy is regretting this aggro tri-lane they started off with.
Oh, yeah. SEA is shown up today.
Yeah.
And Jabs, what a beast. We talked a lot in the last series about, you know, supports or cores moving to support. It's rare that you see a traditional support just say, you know what, actually guys, I'm gonna just lane and also dumpster my lane. Oh, girl.
Yeah, he's definitely throughout the DPC. Looks like they might be able to run down Yanuel as well. Yeah, he's just dead to GH. Talking about Jabs, there were definitely some times, there were some rough patches where I was just like, I'm not sure, Jabs, if you're ready for offlane just yet. But I feel like towards the end of the season, he really started smoothing things out.
Different players have different takes, but I'd say it's around 6 to 12 months to really adjust to a new role.
Okay.
Especially if you're looking at playing at this level, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, you went through multiple roles, right?
Yeah.
You went mid, off lane, and 5.
I mean, like, we had Jenkins trying to play 5. He practiced it for 3 months and had to realize this is hopeless. Like, it takes a long time to get the muscle memory.
That was helpless. Not your mid lane. That part wasn't
whoa! That's the one time I actually played a TI.
That is true. That is true. No, that you were a great mid laner back then. Nowadays,
way back then.
Way
Although
back.
some people would agree. He's too far away, but I can hear No-Tail chuckling in the green room.
Uh-oh. Caught by the Brambles, does manage to get the snowball off in time to dodge the EMP. He's still going to be in a bit of no man's land, but there is DJ to be able to help him out, and the arrow does land over to Jabs. He is actually kind of low. Back over to Januel, who's trying to finish off Miracle, but he won't quite be able to get it. The Tombstone is out, though, so even if Kuro's low, these two are going to have to retreat. Back over to Jabs in the top lane, who's still trying to get away from mind control. Let's talk about Armel trying to deal with that Tombstone before he gets away. The damage is slowed down, but is it going to be enough? The Urn, they see him. The Shadow Realm, the Tornado is there as well. They had certainly enough damage to be able to finish him off, and Jabs did die in that top lane as Timber saw as ultimately he was cornered by mind control. So MC gets a little bit of revenge, and NIGMA Galaxy as a whole get a big win.
Oh yeah, JJ the one-man machine, great job. So much action on the map. I really don't know even who to say. They're just going to keep fighting.
Oh, trying to get a little tether away there. Bramble stops it, but it's close enough to the tower. They can't really pursue.
This is the dual roam. I feel like every team, I've watched DJ play on FNATIC for years and years. I feel like this always ends up happening.
Yeah, he was doing it with Jabs. Now he's got a new support partner here. Nice. They're going to be able to find this kill onto Mind Control.
That's so much damage.
Yeah. Here's the Helmet Dominator. Pickup of the Centaur creep. Yeah. This is something that we've just kind of like postulated that jungle creeps being stronger means Helmet Dom is better as well. Snowball, but that's kind of a dead end. He's going to try and do the shard trick over the cliff, and he does get over the trees, but sadly still up there on the high ground.
Worth a shot. I will say also, I love the new switch where when Jabs was playing with DJ, another can't get word in.
Keep it going. ILTW hopes to be able to get this kill on Raven. They really need to be able to shut down this IO. Tossing their own Centaur onto him, but this carry IO sometimes is so hard to kill. He's so tanky. Armel now being gone in the mid lane, terrorized, being threatened. The Tombstone maybe going down here. He's going to go for the Bedlam, surrounding the last track and getting the kill.
That's so much damage.
Yeah, they took away 5 damage per attack off of every level, but ultimately, you know.
I hate playing against Willow as Lesh. You kind of are forced into Hood or BKB because you straight up get solo killed even later on if you get caught out by the full combo. And maybe DJ with Jabs oftentimes is relegated to more of the 5 role. And I feel like this is one of the first 4 positions that was really a superstar, and it's nice to be able to see him on his role for real.
Yeah, remember Manila Major? Chance going on DJ.
Oh yeah.
His Enigma was epic, and now his Mirana is trying to stay alive, but GH with the Haste Rune is able to chase him down. Miracle, though, might be in a spot of trouble if they can get the right kind of ice shards in here. They block him up here on this high ground, and Jabs doesn't even bother looking at him. He's looking for that next kill, which is going to be onto GH. They don't have any stuns, though.
Yeah, Tusk very close to level 6, but not quite close enough to get the interrupt. Would have been a certain bonus kill.
Yeah. 6-10. It's 11 minutes in. We've already had 16 kills across the board. Pretty even game on top of that. So this is a good start to this best of 1. I'm a fan.
It's tough, and I'll be honest, it's so tough to read like which squad will scale better because they have such different lineup concepts. So you're gonna have this Alacrity Tiny. You got to assume like physical damage-wise they'll have that advantage, but if TI has taught me anything, you can never downplay the potential of a carry Wisp. And then both Lesh and Timbersaw will scale, especially with the lead they've got.
Ooh, arrow off the mark there. Still hoping to be able to chase him down. He doesn't have a tower to be able to retreat to, and his Firefly is going to run out fairly soon as the Ice Shards doesn't quite get him there, and Jabs missing with the Chakram as well. They've got one last chance to be able to maybe catch him with this Timber Chain in the second round of Chakram. They catch up to him, Snowball. They do manage to get the lasso before, but Mind Control is probably going to be run down at tier 2. And nobody's out there to help MC. They're too focused on mid, apparently.
And just trying to make a play on Armel, though. You want to get the kill on the enemy mid and then hopefully pressure tower, but this is the one downside. Undying Willow, it's very hard for you to set up your own kills. We're on a Tusk, see somebody, boom, you've got him. But you need to hit a Bramble from Fog, or I guess get close enough to throw the crown.
Yeah,
very difficult.
Those heroes are a little bit more of the like your full 5-on-5 team fighters, right? Whereas Tusk Mirana is like, as you said, see hero, kill hero.
Yeah, you don't typically see level 1 tombstone kills. Yeah, because it's not, it doesn't work. Like this is the exception. If that's your strategy for the rest of the game, it's going to be tough. You really look for them to set up fights around high grounds. You see a ward placed on one just now, but ultimately you want tombstone on high ground and a fight around that location. But FNATIC's lineup is quite good at escaping, right?
Yeah,
Tether away, Snowball away, Timber Chain away, Leap away. Leshrak's also one of the faster heroes in Dota, so it's going to be tough for NIGMA to control areas of the map and force FNATIC to fight in them.
And that's why MC's game, like, going well from the laning phase was so important, right? Because he's the hero that is able to keep people inside of those areas. Trying to siege down this mid-tier 1 tower. Kuro goes ahead and pops the ultimate, making himself a little bit tanky. The Terrorized being threatened there. In fact, poor Tuss is going to get run down by Kuro. They can't really fight back into this Undying very well. They almost kill him. TJ leaps in for the finishing blow, but ultimately it's a support for support trade-off. Now Jabs is here. Does a lot of damage to Miracle before he gets stunned up. Deal with the Tombstone in time. Fortunately, it fades away, so no gold fed away.
Yeah. It's also, again, new patch, so you see a lot of old ideas kind of revamped. I remember back in the Liquid days, you know, the Quaswex Invoker Undying combo was something that these same guys would utilize. It was, what, 4 years ago? I don't know. Time flies. But we'll say it's a cat and mouse so far. Towers, I think taking mid is big here. You're going to open up the map. You already see Curl with some nice wards placed deep in the enemy jungle, but for those to be utilized, they want to be playing this area. And again, tough without that ability to actually land kills.
Mind control again, caught by these rotations. This time it's Armel who shows up.
Is he going for the traditional bat build? I didn't check his items, or is it going to be the Witchblade right click? More traditional. That makes sense. You want the initiation factor, right? Tiny's going to be your hard carry.
For sure, for sure. So I assume we're going to see Blink Dagger second item. I feel like that. I'm not sure if right click Bat Rider is going to be a thing now that they changed the shard to 50%, but maybe I'm wrong. But when it was 100%, he was like a ranged Ursa. It was just insane how much damage he could do with his right clicks. Oh, Jab's trying to slow him down, but this Invoker. On the earlier levels, I believe some of the change that happens in the early levels, I believe he's faster, but in the later levels, he's slower. So right now, he is taking advantage of that little buff as he cruising around the map. Blink Dagger for the Tiny, so there's another form of initiation for our team fight that we're talking about. We basically have to make sure it sticks. Something Lacoste and I were talking about last, which is the Avalanche change, which actually now chain stuns, so you can ensure that people like Tusk and Mirana, who used to have instant ways to get out of Avalanche, will now be caught up in it.
Be curious to see, can they land the kill? That's what it's going to come down to. FNATIC's lineup, it's all about sustain. The longer the fight, the better.
Yeah.
NIGMA, you need a pickoff. You need that tiny combo to land. You need some sort of lasso, and then you can chase for more. FNATIC, you just want to sustain that initial jump target, and then you just spit out damage as you walk at him.
They see Miracle, thanks to that ward combination being laid down. And they do have Raven, who's going to be joining in this fight immediately. Kuro trying to focus him down. A nice toss back into the Tusk, puts them together. And the damage of the Tombstone is just overwhelming FNATIC here as Miracle picks up the double kill. Jabs is still pretty healthy, though, still trying to fight it out. Does manage to get the Chakram onto mind control before the lasso comes in, and with the help of Mirana, they do manage to get that kill. He's inside of a Brambles, but picked up by a Snowball, dodges the Tornado as well. Jabs a little low on mana, but he's got enough to be able to Timber Chain through and get the kill on Miracle. A TP out from the two. Oh, he got hit by an arrow, so they're going to get ILTW as well.
Wow.
What a turn towards the latter half of that team fight by FNATIC.
What a buyback as well. Save the Timber, and then also sets up for bonus kills. You can't fight in the tomb. FNATIC just learned that lesson. I expect them to realize this and kite in the future, because they engaged into a tomb that had already been dropped. And first replay coming out, you can see this is really scary. The buyback has the lasso lands. I don't know if he's had the Yules to save the hood afterwards. Like, he's so tanky on Timbersaw, and then just snowball right on through, jukes the Tornado, and then Miracle dead in the water.
Yeah, it certainly would have been close. Jabs would have been on the cusp of death if he'd been hit by the, especially with the increased toss damage that came in, because he's got level 2 grow right now, and then the Tornado on top of that, maybe a Bramble. It would have been a lot.
Man.
But as you said, buyback saves him.
I'm glad we're only on day one, Cap. I love watching Dota of this caliber. Like, DJ, you know, recognizing that kill secured, then boom, switches to go get the TPing Tiny. Like,
oh, and they're going to be able to find Mind Control again. Mind Control, he needs some help, and he's not going to get any Ravens here to help get the kill. Kuro shows up with a Tombstone, and look at Tusk. He waves goodbye. Bye-bye. You don't have any stuns on an Undying, and Raven can easily relocate back out after he joined in on that fight. Now they're going to go. They saw heroes in the bottom lane. Immediately, FNATIC pounds on mid. Fortunately, GH was able to complete a TP, and Tiny, bit too tanky to go down right away.
Sorry to the FNATIC fans for the immediate caster curse onto DJ. Lifting that arrow. Nice to go. That forces rotations at the end of the day. You just want to apply pressure, recognize we're not going to get killed, back off. Tier 2 top.
I think the scary thing for NIGMA Galaxy is we haven't seen the strength of, like last match, we saw so many IO Leshracs and IO Storm Spirits, and it was a support IO, and that combination was so powerful around like 15 minutes. We haven't seen them link up just yet because Raven's still trying to complete his Aghanim Scepter. When he does do that,
so much damage. Like the name of the game right now is damage. Consider Tiny, Blink Dagger is good for initiation, but no damage amp, right? A little bit better positioning. Same with the Batrider bots purchase, and your output is already low DPS. Invoker, pretty low damage. Your Batrider, pretty low damage.
Yeah, middling damage depending on your sticky napalm, right?
GH probably is by the most damage done at this point, and they're going to be incredibly reliant on a good tombstone. If you don't have one down, I simply don't see how you would ever take a long engagement against FNATIC.
Right.
Like you need pickoffs into another pickoff into a chase. Midas as well. You know, a lot of the gold spent so far by NIGMA is not going to help them now, but maybe it will later. And meanwhile, FNATIC, like, double Yule's already up. There's the Aghanims on Raven. This is the timing, as you said.
Here they come. A 3-man smoke with a relocate ready to go. On top of that, they find their initiation. They're going to start off Yules, leap away into the arrow. It does land on ILTW.
High ground tomb.
They do have a high ground tomb. The tomb is being kept alive. They do manage to get a beautiful terrorize onto 3 with mind control being able to follow that up, but an instant kill onto Leshrac. Raven hoping to relocate, gets him back out, but it will not. NIGMA Galaxy. You were saying they have to play for this 5-man team fight, and they found a beautiful one. As last time, they overextended a little bit by going on to jabs. Daniel, can he do it again with a snowball? He's going to be able to stall up ILTW inside of that chakram for a little bit longer. Pull back, missed Timber Chain. No trees were there anymore due to the Batrider. Yule Scepter, though, and he comes back down straight on top of the Timber Saw. That Whirling Death cuts him to pieces. They still have to be careful of jabs, but they're slowly corralling him. As long as nobody gets hit by an arrow or anything.
I don't know if you... Oh, but the Vessel might help.
Yeah, Curse Crown, bump into another Bramble. Nice play from Mind Control. He was in one Bramble, and then he just, boop, bumps him with the Flame Break into another one. Nice combo.
I mean, that was just flawless fighting, but you saw after Armel died, he pinged the tombstone.
Yeah.
I almost can guarantee he's saying, guys, what? Like, no, we can't do this. 3 heroes running into the high ground tomb. They try to attack it, but you're getting zombies spawned to you. Huge fear on 3 from GH, and then Tiny comes in. You can't take that fight as FNATIC. Still a slight lead in gold, but you know the execution there, you just can't. You can't do that.
And team fight gets stronger as now Undying has a mech. Watch that one. DJ some nice moves, but this is where it all goes wrong. To the south, the tombstone is up, and FNATIC try and focus it down, but this Terrorize stops them in their tracks.
And at that point, it's just, okay, we lost this fight. Like, it's over. Just try and save yourselves. DJ's immediately leaps away, turns into the chicken. Or is that a duck? Can't tell.
It's Piggy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you... There's no cosmetics for that, right?
No.
That's
just a pig.
That's the next phase, guys. Mark my words, it's coming. You're going to be able to...
Mark my words.
Equip different neutral items,
So
collectibles.
dramatic. DJ tries to get the Yules, and he does manage to get it.
Nice girl.
Arrow interrupted by Kuro. He intentionally blocks the arrow to be able to help DH get out alive, but he won't be able to. The tomb is out, but FNATIC, this time around, they're able to focus the tombstone because nobody else from NIGMA Galaxy is around.
The whole concept of the way that NIGMA want to play these fights is tomb goes down, it's baited, and then boom, Quadsplex Invoker, a Fear, the Lasso, the Tiny. If you get jumped like this, you can't protect tombstone, you can't protect your supports, fight's over for sure. Just well done by FNATIC to collapse. They are rewarded as well with that mid tier 1. Tough for both sides to take Roche, but I expect that'll be an objective shortly, 22 minutes in.
Yeah.
We slip into shadow.
The free smoke.
Moonlight Shadow going to be used as they start making their move towards mid. See Invoker going to get caught here. Miracle. They spotted him. They see Kuro. They're going to go for him first. See if the Walrus Punch plus the follow-up is enough to be able to get the kill nice and quick. ILTW comes in with a monster avalanche onto 3. A nice toss. Doesn't get a single kill, but brings lots low. Terrorize goes out in order to protect ILTW as he tries to get away from this pesky Timber Saw. Gets a little bit low. Self-Yules off of the Timber Chain. A nice clean escape to be able to get rid of the Vessel. The rest of FNATIC on retreat as NIGMA Galaxy, they hope to be able to just get any kill out of this chase, and they will be able to catch up to the Tufts. He dies first. Armel with the French BKB, though. The tombstone's out, but they manage to grab this Leshrac, and they focus him down despite the BKB. He gets melted. Alacrity, self-alacrity onto Miracle helps bring him down. DJ's going to be caught up in the tombstone, and now Jabs, once again, they left him for last, or at least trying to.
Another buyback.
They're going to buy back again to be able to protect Jab's Timbersaw. They're focusing him down. The Sunstrike does a good amount of damage. Timber Chain on through, but he doesn't have a way out. Now DJ, he's got to make sure he doesn't die back here. It gives Raven an opportunity to be able to tether himself away. Getting burned. Here comes the Meteor. Raven, he's in some trouble here, but they're going to dive in pretty deep to be able to finish him off. Into tier 3s. They get the kill onto Raven, but now kicked up in the air. ILTW will trade his life for that. And that feels a little awkward because they also lost Miracle.
Man, I love it. I forgot we had the iconic Miracle Invoker. Does get a little too aggressive there.
Yeah.
Great spell casting, but you know they end up with Raven's death. So I guess you take that trade. Still an incredibly even game. FNATIC, I like the aggression. They know Tombstone's on cooldown, so they make that move. The trouble is they weren't able to finish it off. ILTW had that great initiation. Just does so much damage. It forces FNATIC to regroup, and then the rest of NIGMA can regroup and then chase. They find kills. Ends more even than I expected, though.
Yeah, it does.
Like I just realized they lost both ILTW and Miracle, so all said and done, pretty even. Cool decision to lasso the BKB Lash and just right-click him to death as well.
Yeah, that is the part that is really concerning for me about FNATIC, because I thought this BKB was going to be a huge timing for them, but it seems like between the Tiny's physical damage and the self-alacrity, or he could put, in that fight, put alacrity on himself, but he could alacrity the Tiny up, like they actually do enough physical damage that Lesh has to be scared. He can't just YOLO in.
There's two ways to Lesh. I'm always not loving when I have to buy BKB early for that exact reason, where it's an investment into like the next fight. Whereas if you go, you know, the Sanjin Kai is queued up. If you go for that style, it's more about tanking and scaling. You can get the BKB later, or perhaps not at all, and you're completely reliant on just your innate like magic resist or armor, HP to stay alive.
Yeah.
If you die with BKB, your progression is now slowed, and it's not actually winning you the fight that you bought it for.
Yes.
And you know, this is a Miracle Invoker with a Midas. He is going to scale. The Tiny is going to scale. But definitely still anybody's game. Been rock solid so far on both sides. Really action-packed. 25 minutes, 44 kills.
FNATIC, I mean, this next team fight, if the first one didn't work, they really need this next one for the BKB to actually be worth the purchase. I guess Lesh also didn't have any of his saves, though. That was something that was missing. Once again, no tether from the IO when he went in. They didn't have a Tusk snowball save or anything like that, so team fights definitely could look different. It's all about that execution. FNATIC are going to go for a 5-man smoke up immediately after NIGMA Galaxy was looking for that fight around the triangle. They're going to go for a long wraparound here. Both teams are going to be keeping around this Roshan pit. LTW, he's farming up this, he double-clicked into them! He double-clicked back towards his base and straight into the open arms of FNATIC in a killing embrace.
That might have been a mini-map blink. That's the dire disadvantage right there. You want to blink bottom left, but if you mini-map, I think that could have been it. You can disable it, but I don't know anybody who's done that.
Yeah, you can also switch it to the other side. I thought that you were going to make that mention.
No, that's an insane. I can't watch Insane history.
Yeah. 22 to 23, 3,000 net worth lead for FNATIC, and they have an opening here to be able to do Roshan. They don't necessarily do it the absolute quickest. So NIGMA Galaxy, they can slow him down long enough for the Tiny to come back potentially.
This is a great Roche defending lineup as well on this dire side. You just throw so much into the pit. Willow spells, the Fear, the Tomb. You can drop Meteors. It's so hard to do Roche as FNATIC unless you have more kills, honestly. The Tiny's just not enough, and they don't have the damage for it. Lack of a real right-clicker will certainly make the Roche slower.
They have Tusk tag team, but not a whole lot of heroes that are going to right-click with it, so. BKB for Jabs doesn't even try and complete the Kaya Sanj, just the Sanj straight into that critical item against an Invoker and Batrider.
The Willow too, I mean, just, he's invincible. Like, you might be able to kill my Lesh when he's BKB'd. You certainly will not be able to do the same to me as the tier 3 items start to fall. I always wonder how much this timing affects team strategies. Like, you've got FNATIC farming theirs up. Maybe NIGMA is looking to make a smoke here, but they haven't got theirs yet. How important are they?
Rechecking the pit.
Crow's always done, like, look how much emphasis he's placing on his own side of the map. Sentries everywhere. They really want to control their defensive jungle because ultimately for FNATIC to take Roche, they're going to need to invade this area first.
Yes. And that area is also more valuable due to the bounty room change.
True.
Which is just, I feel like, much more your reason than mine, but just a small little addition. Which I personally am a big fan of. I feel like we were overly focused on that triangle jungle.
Yeah. That was watching old stuff way back in Liquid days. I learned a lot from Crow because he was one of the few supports that I always saw emphasizing these defensive wards. Now it's more commonplace. Like Spirit, the famous ward on the high ground, but that actually you see in the bottom radiant jungle place now. Everybody does it, but it used to not be.
Smoke run back into each other. Miracle does manage to catch him first with the tornado. They're going to go for the same lasso play with the BKB. They're just going to burst through him. ILTW beats him to a pulp. That Invoker Tiny is no joke. They don't need an IO to be able to make Tiny carry work when you've got a damage amp like Invoker.
Yeah, I can't believe he's so farmed. I mean, the laning phase certainly went well for Miracle, but he's top net worth. That is spooky.
Yeah.
And they have Roche damage.
Now, you said Jabs. He's kind of invincible, and he knows it too. He's just going in there with a double BKB. So they're trying to focus on ILTW right now, but Jabs may have Timber Chain a little bit too far away from ILTW. They get him in the end, and he does not have buyback to contest this Roshan. But DJ, he's not going to be able to leap out. Awkward leaps all around. Tries one more time to get up to the high ground, misses it, and is caught by NIGMA Galaxy. 3 down on the side of FNATIC, but the Tusk is coming back up. They're still going to be able to defend Roshan. Both these teams are still at a stalemate. Neither one has broken just yet.
It's tough. That Armel's game is kind of ruined at this point. Like, he is not tanky enough. He needs armor now, but he's not even close. He's not even able to itemize for that just yet. Still working on the Sanj. Oh, I think Miracle just misclicked BKB.
Yes, he did. Did they see it?
I believe they did.
Side of FNATIC. I mean, that Roshan's so low. They're going to commit to it now.
They're just going to give it up.
Looks like it.
It makes sense. It's not huge. Well, it is pretty huge. I got to say. I mean, Armel.
Do you really want it on Jabs?
Well, they gave it to. What?
Yeah. I feel like we already said he's kind of invincible. Like, he's not going to die very easy.
Yeah, I was like, it's super impactful on Armel because he's going to die to the lasso.
Yeah.
How do you... If Jabs dies once, you feel like he's likely going to die again. I can't see a world where he's getting, like, focus fired. Like, you're not really able to 100-0 him too easily before he would BKB. Armel?
Speaking of Armel... He was relying. I mean, that was really sick.
What?
They covered it with the Terrorize. He thought he was going to get Blink Snowball saved, and the Terrorize landed right as he attempted to do that, but still.
That's one of the dangers of Wisp lineups. You can get too comfortable playing cross-map because you always have that reload, but you don't have the immediate counter-initiate, so suddenly you're just ditching your 2 heroes top and they die, and the rest of your squad's forced to retreat behind tier 2 as NIGMA are going to continue to press the map. They just
that one again. See that tries to blink in,
sick,
immediately terrorized, and it's also harder to do against Avalanche. I mean, that's just tough to position against that ability now.
Realistically, I think they're both dead no matter what. There's no way FNATIC are going to be able to get there in time.
Yeah, because their strongest hero is really this man right here. They need Jabs to be the one getting initiated on, if anything.
He's going to have to use his body as a shield. He has to be the guy initiating. And here's where the dual roam support duo of FNATIC was very effective earlier on, but now you kind of feel like it's tough for them to make their own plays.
Yeah.
Whereas Batrider, perhaps a weak start, the way that NIGMA are going to initiate is very straightforward now. You lasso somebody, you drop a tombstone, you can always catch with the Quaswex Invoker. Just much easier for them to take the fights that they want. FNATIC kind of have to do the ye old walk at them strategy. And the Holy Locket Met combo on Crow too. That's a lot. It's a lot of sustain. It may go unnoticed, but like Soul Rip spam is insane healing in the midst of a fight.
Yeah, and I think they made it again. They've been doing this for a while, but I think it's even more consistent than it used to be. We're relying on less units. I think is one of the changes in this last patch. I mean, they've done that so many times. Remember, it used to be like 20 units or something. It was just like, how many times is there going to be 20 units around? Jabs, well, he's doing what you're talking about. He's completed a Kaya Sanj. He's putting his body on the line here.
Crow saw this.
Sees the Moonlight Shadow. They look at NIGMA. They're all set up on the side of the trees here, off map. They only really see Miracle. They're going to go for him. They manage to hit the Walrus Punch, but the BKB goes off, and his toss is immediately landed in no man's land. DJ triple leap in order to get out of the tree. It's coming! 793 damage from that one. And now Jabs behind enemy lines with this Aegis. They're immediately going to buy back on FNATIC. They know they need it. NIGMA Galaxy blew most of their initiation to be able to get the kills on the supports. Now it's a question whether or not FNATIC can bounce back. They're going to be able to get this opening kill on a Mind Control. Dead for 85. Jabs looks for more. Diving in deep, ILTW turning back around, going for the Raven with the Meteor on hammer on top of him. Raven gets bursted down. He did not expect that kind of firepower coming out. Looks like he will manage to catch Kuro, but Jab's blown so much, and the rest of his team, they're left without a Timbersaw. They are being absolutely destroyed by ILTW and Co. Miracle is going to work on this Invoker, and now it's just the Timbersaw left.
Scotty on Miracle as well. Like, there's no sustain. Vessel plus Scotty. And they just save Jabs for last. Have him for dessert.
Well, they've got BKB. Jabs is not going to try and go for a TP out, which he could have. Instead, he wants to be able to get the kill. Okay, now he goes for it.
He's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it in time. He didn't give himself enough of a window.
I mean, that's the trouble. Like, what? They just ignored the Timbersaw. Like, who cares about Aegis? Like, we don't care about this hero. That was a double buyback on the supports, and they both died again. What a fight, though. Again, the ward from Kuro. They see this invis. They know the loop round is coming. Miracle is just baiting. Everyone else is hiding in the trees, and he gets the BKB off before the initiation. Suddenly you're fighting into Tombstone, and FNATIC get routed. That was sick.
Refresher soon for the Bat Rider. We've got an ILTW Tiny that is full of damage items. He's almost completed Daedalus. Gonna look at Satanic next. You said Miracle. He's got a Scotty. So he's actually trying to right-click with an Invoker, and a classic Tiny. I think some of the damage changes they put in made it so that bonus damage is even more amplified on Tiny. I believe it's also the same for Siege Wagon.
Yeah, what's is it, siege damage? It's like fortification, the armor type. Is it in there? I don't know.
Oh, for this one, it's just the 50% that they put in, which I believe means that bonus damage is more effective on Tiny than was before. Toss, okay, that's a nice Walrus Punch arrow combination, but it wasn't enough chain stun. Miracle still managed to get off his BKB, and now they're gonna drag back Armel. Reload attempt, did they get him out? They did. That is gonna be able to save Armel, and might actually be able to get the kill on Miracle. They're catching up to him with the orbs, and they manage to catch him. Balls indeed, Kyle, as they manage to catch Miracle by a pair of those, and now Kuro's going to get run down as well. The rest of NIGMA Galaxy maybe a little bit too ambitious, trying to go for those kills on the high ground.
That's the second time Miracle was just a little too aggro, ends up paying with his life, but if they had just chilled a bit, hit the racks like 3 more times with the tree, like the racks almost dead. 2 racks, a huge edge, and they end up going for the team fight instead. Great initiation from FNATIC out of the invis, double stun to lead, but you can see they blow these BKBs. Armel's BKB, he has to run away while BKB'd.
Yeah,
it's a huge problem. That's your mid laner. That's the guy who's supposed to be, your secondary source of damage here, and unfortunately...
the toss followed. Okay, so that's what I was like, how did Miracle get over there? He got tossed on the relocate. And the relocate was not very far away. So it actually followed him all the way. So if he relocates 3,000 or more units away or something, that toss doesn't complete. But because it was a short range one, Miracle got sent all the way over into the mid lane tier 4s.
All right, I take it back. I'm sorry. He did not make...
How dare he be over aggressive?
A slight miscalculation. Oh, man. That's going to... I don't know if Jamel's watching, but he's made similar sorts of tosses. Not everybody can be Aragorn.
This toss.
What? Aragorn made a successful toss. Helm's Deep? No?
Yeah.
You not with me?
Was that was Aragorn who did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Tier 2 about to fall, Armel. Okay, Glyph. NIGMA Galaxy actually going to try and get into this smoke position fast enough. The rest of the team is cutting over through the outpost right now. Well, Miracle will head off into this tier 2 to defend it. Here comes Mind Control. Oh, he spots Armel. Oh, they caught him before he could TP out. He's just too damn fast. Look at him. Immediately Refresher and looking for more perhaps, but the rest of FNATIC have already completed their retreat.
I actually really like that from MC. If you don't use the refresher, then you have this window where you don't have your spell, but you don't refresh. This is the veteran move, just like ready for more.
Yeah.
Had popped the BKB, now he's still immediately ready to select his next target. And if they can push out mid-wave, they can go straight top, taking to the rack. So Miracle.
They're going to try this combination again. The Walrus Punch into the snowball, into the arrow, into the chain stun that gets the kill. A nice opener here from FNATIC. Raven's going to be grabbed by the lasso. The Vulture doing a good amount of damage back into mind control. He's got his BKB, but the physical damage to the Tiny. He's got to get out of here, relocate away, and they're good. The two of them are out. They're going to leave Jabs behind, though. Jabs, he's got to be so careful. ILTW, no longer can he stand up to that big man.
Daedalus Moonshard, what a combination.
Yeah.
I mean, that was sick from FNATIC. Like, making the worst of the best out of a bad situation. You're down a hero. You've got to make a move. They 100-0 Miracle. He buys back media. They're going right for the jugular.
Especially with ILTW finding that opening on DJ, it's a great opportunity to get 2 lanes, maybe go straight for tier 4s because you still have a tier 2 up in bottom lane.
Yeah, you can just go for the game here. It's 5 on 2
and
for a period. Look at the damage.
Yeah, I mean, he just absolutely devastates these buildings. Between the tree, the shard, and that alacrity. They're going to try and stop this, but the Terrorize just going to be able to push away. They're just going to focus on the throne, and FNATIC cannot do anything to stop it. NIGMA Galaxy off to a great start. First time in a while, and they've been back on land. They look like they are a land team indeed. 2-0 already in the group stage.
They look great. I mean, really awesome game to watch, but honestly, like, I can't fault FNATIC. Like, this was... They were getting beaten. Like, they didn't lose this, they lost the game. Yeah. But it wasn't like they made some sort of critical error or like played poorly. That was just sick from the Curl and the boys. That one team fight bottom like sets up the whole game. That was FNATIC's edge. They have the Aegis and they just outplayed them. They out-strategized them. The chess master with the out thinking.
What do you think about carry IO, by the way? Do you feel like it's not quite the same?
I don't know if we can really fairly judge it from that game. I didn't really feel the impact. But I don't know if that's because Armel was kind of consistently dying, or if maybe the BKBs, maybe just can't stand up against Tiny. It just didn't really feel like Raven was doing what he wanted in the game.
All right, well, we'll see what our panel thinks about both that game and the carry IO as we head back to them.
Thank you very much. What a great game to watch both FNATIC and Team NIGMA Galaxy putting up a great show. Of course, in the end, NIGMA Galaxy comes out on top, and they are indeed now 2-0 in those group stages. But a lot to talk about with that one game alone, Ephey. We come out, we see that it's a carry IO. Your first reaction, were you happy about that?
I'm not sure that I enjoyed it, to be honest, just because it felt like there were a lot of ways to deal with it. Particularly just the Willow and the Batrider being really excellent tools. And Lacoste and I were theorycrafting about the Tusk Core, right? Because it just didn't seem that intuitive to have the IO be the carry there. But of course, IO Tusk is an incredibly powerful lane. You do want to have more farm priority on the IO in that scenario. But unfortunately, it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. But honestly, that game was so back and forth. It really felt like it could have swung in any direction up until Miracle got that Scotty timing. That just did so much by way of countering their strategy, and it never really felt like Lushrock was able to come online. So
this damage, like Kuro did some very nice moves, like the first blood. You don't expect level 1 Undying taking you mid lane with a tombstone, and he had a lot of good tombstones on the high ground place where like NIGMA, I think that's what won them a lot of the fights, and they have good ways of protecting the tombstone. And it seems like this is gonna be the hero that NIGMA Galaxy will be picking up, because this is the second time they played it against TSM, now they played it against FNATIC, and they know how to play well. I mean, I'm not going to say that FNATIC were out of this game early on, because it was a very competitive game, but there was a lot of mistakes that FNATIC did, like giving Aegis to Timbersaw, in my opinion. Like, not a thing. You have carry IO, you definitely want to keep it on the IO, because IO deals ton of damage, or you want to give it to Leshrac, because Leshrac also one of the better Aegis carriers in the game. Not a like top tier if we're talking about the Storm Spirit, but still, like we can see how NIGMA played when they decided to give Aegis to Timbersaw. Completely ignore him and just like put him on ignore list while the rest of the team is gonna die. And also the itemization we talked about before the game started. They need an early Spirit Vessel carrier, so Invoker checked a lot of the boxes, and he also went for Scotty just for extra slow and extra healing reduction.
Yep. I agree with everything he said there. And also, I was telling you, Sheever, in the green room that I'm not entirely sold on Tiny's return to being a tier 1 carry, but he honestly looked so good, especially with the alacrity given to him by the Invoker. Because typically you'd think that yes, his spell damage with his combo did go up, but his physical damage actually got downskilled. But with the Invoker, it felt like his DPS was absolutely ridiculous. He was just shredding everybody in the late game.
Oh,
and
this
even
was a big fight. Again, Tombstone on the high ground, sorry Ephey, it's just like the pretty much the story of this game, how it developed. But yeah, I do agree. Tiny needs some kind of a buff, and I'm still like not fully convinced whether this is like gonna be a top tier pick. I think in this particular game, NIGMA wanted to split Io and Tiny. They wanted to separate them because Io Tiny, like Io Ursa, these are different beats that you need to be very careful about. And yeah, this was only alacrity, but if you're like trying to build up a Tiny lineup with someone else like buying a Solar Crest, like alacrity, Empower, whatever, anything that you can amplify Tiny's damage with is gonna be great.
yeah, and honestly, all these highlights that they're showing us, if you see every fight that FNATIC lost has been on NIGMA's side of the map. And every fight that FNATIC managed to just win or swing back in their favor, for example, that first one by their mid-tier 2, it was closer to them, right? So I think towers and outposts just played a huge role in the map control. And just the further out that FNATIC went, the more likely they were to lose the fight. So perhaps a little bit of miscalculations on their movements, or maybe a little bit of overestimation as to how strong they were and how deeply they could venture.
Yeah, and they had... They, of course, had the DJ Mirana as well. We did have a couple of great arrows, but I want to talk about the combination of supports, because a Mirana and a Tusk both as supports, we don't see that very often. Normally there's one that is very clearly the 5. This case, of course, a Tusk Mirana. What was your thought on that, Ephey, that you saw this combination?
So I think Mirana is actually quite a good 4. She was very underlooked in the last season just because she wasn't as strong as everybody else, but her early laning got buffed because her starting agility got higher, and so did her overall damage. I think it was increased by 5. So her laning presence as a harasser, just as a